to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria. Slavery is an evil practice abolished.
Xenophobia. That is the word trending most in Nigeria today. And I'm sure you know where the narrative is coming from. This is what will trend on News Extra tonight, with presidential concern leading the way. But that won't be all, as the president has been busy with other matters as well, like ensuring Nigerian engineers give their best to the infrastructural push the government has in mind for the next level agenda. And as usual, there are varieties of interesting stories ranging from security, development, business to sports, and of course Thursday's weather prospects in this wet season. That's the broad outlook of the program tonight. But let me start from where I ought to have started. Good evening and welcome to News Extra, the bulletin that brings you the news with the extra touch. So as usual, sit back and enjoy the taste of the pudding in the eating. Let me, Fatima, serve you. Like I said, I am Fatima Umar Buba, and you're welcome. The federal government is reassuring the nation that it will not abdicate its responsibility at adequately protecting Nigerians and their legitimate economic interest anywhere in the world. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, stated this while briefing journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari on the reported xenophobia attacks against Nigerians in South Africa.
Happened in South Africa is totally unacceptable. We will not accept it, and as I said earlier, enough is enough, and we're not going to come back to this. We're going to have to address it once and for all this time. So this is a position of the government that we're going to draw a red line here, and whatever measure that needs to be taken to ensure the safety of Nigerians in South Africa, we will take. And we have a very clear idea of what we want to achieve, and the Special Envoy has very clear directives from Mr. President about the commitments and guarantees that we expect from the South African government.
The minister described as unfortunate and counterproductive distorted reports being circulated on the development in South Africa, which he said has impacted on Nigeria's response to the situation.
From the High Commission and the Consul General in South Africa is that no Nigerian life has been lost during these crises. And I think that's very important, because on social media, there's a lot of stories going around, Nigerians being killed, jumping off buildings, and being burnt. This is not the case. What we know that premises, shops of Nigerians have been looted and properties destroyed.
Mr. Onyema confirmed the stepping down of Nigeria's participation at the World Economic Forum in Cape Town, the recall of the nation's High Commissioner to South Africa, as well as the demand of full compensation on losses suffered by Nigerians in that country. However, he said, President Buhari is worried over the acts of vandalism which took place in Nigeria in retaliation to the happenings in South Africa.
Is that we have to take the moral high ground on this matter. We here in Nigeria must not fall into the temptation of also resorting to the acts that we are condemning in others. People that will suffer from those acts of vandalism and aggression are not South Africans or anyone else, but they are Nigerians. The government is acting. We cannot state everything and put everything in the public domain with regards to what we are doing, obviously, but want to assure all Nigerians that this government is determined that the red line has been drawn and that we will not give in on this occasion, and that the South African government has to assume its responsibilities and do the right thing. And we're going to consider other options to ensure that the message gets across to the government of South Africa. It's not a question of weakness or anything of the sort. We have to move, but we have to move decisively.
He also said on the return of the special envoy, whose identity is to be made public, the federal government will assess the report, look at all available options and take appropriate measures towards putting a stop to the attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. And following reported cases of attempts by some individuals to attack South African interests in parts of the country, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has appealed to Nigerians not to engage in any reprisal against the South Africans and their investments in Nigeria. The Vice President says government is already taking actions at the highest level to bring an end to the xenophobic attacks and ensure that the perpetrators are punished.
Also realize that two wrongs do not make a right. The death of so many of Nigerians is regrettable, and I express the sincere condolences of the government and many Nigerians to the families who have lost their loved ones. The government has already, in very strong terms, expressed our outrage to the South African government, and the President has also decided that an envoy will be going over to South Africa to express complete objection and the fact that we're so offended by what has happened. So that I think will suffice, for now. But we must be careful not to hurt ourselves by attacking businesses that we think are South African. Practically all of those businesses, MTN, look at the number of people that are employed, they're all Nigerians. Same as ShopRite, shops are owned, many of the shops in the malls are owned by Nigerians. So I think we should really be calm and allow peace to reign. Two wrongs do not make a right. Let's consolidate on what we have in Nigeria and continue to ensure that we do not allow what has happened in South Africa to repeat itself.
Meanwhile, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja, Professor Nuhu Yakubu, has joined other voices calling for restraint over adverse reaction against xenophobic attacks in South Africa.
So we have really played critical leadership roles. This is what Nigerians, I think, should have put into consideration in terms of our reaction to what is happening. And I will advise that we don't have to go on destruction, whether of properties or of lives. What is happening in South Africa is unfortunate. They do not call for it. But what I think in terms of finding solution is for the Nigerian government at this critical point to summon an emergency meeting of AU. I think it's a critical issue that warrants AU to step in. And when we take this pragmatic approach, everybody will now also come to admit that Nigeria has demonstrated leadership.
In the meantime, the federal government has advised Nigerians in South Africa to avoid high-risk and volatile areas in South Africa following renewed xenophobic attacks on foreign nationals until the situation is brought under control. A statement by Frenard Nwoye, spokesperson of the Foreign Affairs Minister, the federal government explained that government is seriously concerned with the tension in South Africa and is therefore engaging relevant authorities to ensure safety of Nigerians. The statement commended South African police for arresting perpetrators and also calls for their immediate prosecution. Similarly, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello has called on residents of the Federal Capital Territory, especially students and youths, not to carry out retaliatory attacks on South African nationals and business interests in the FCT over the recent xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in that country. A statement by Chief Press Secretary to the Minister, Anthony Ogunleye, states that the federal government has already explored diplomatic channels to address the issue. He says South African businesses in the FCT are in partnership with Nigerian investors and are contributing to the economic development of the territory. And the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has appealed to Nigerians to remain peaceful and law-abiding, despite the unwarranted provocation of xenophobic killings of Nigerians in South Africa and destruction of their businesses, saying that violence is not in Nigerians' national core value. Director General of NOA, Dr. Garba Abari, made the appeal in Abuja in the wake of appraisal attack in parts of the country by some Nigerians, stressing that the federal government is engaging with the South African government and taking all necessary measures to effectively address the situation. In the same vein, the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution has expressed concern over the xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other Africans by some miscreants in South Africa. The Director General of IPCR, Professor Bakut T. Bakut, called on South Africans to remember the historical relationship between South Africa and other African countries, which dated back to the days of apartheid. And the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has ordered watertight security around embassies, foreign missions, foreigners and their businesses within the country. This order is against the backdrop of the attack on ShopRite outlets in Lekki area of Lagos State by some miscreants who attacked and looted the malls under the pretext of protesting against the incessant xenophobic attacks in South Africa. All zonal assistant inspector generals of police and commissioners of police across the Federation have been placed on red alert to ensure no similar violence is replicated within the country. The IGP, who condemned the violent attacks, states that 3 police officers were seriously injured and a police operational vehicle set ablaze. A total number of 125 suspects have been arrested in connection with the incident, while a good number of looted valuables have been recovered by the police. Meanwhile, the force has commenced investigations and profiling of the arrested suspects with a view to establishing their connection with the stealing, malicious damage, arson and disturbance of a public peace on the day of the incident. The force is hereby reassuring all abiding citizens, embassies, foreign missions, foreigners and other businesses within the country of their security and safety. And the National Human Rights Commission has joined other Nigerians in condemning in strong terms the xenophobic attacks on Nigerians and other nationals in South Africa. Francis Form reports that the Executive Secretary of the Commission called on the International Criminal Court to assume jurisdiction on the matter so as to bring perpetrators to justice.
Xenophobia in South Africa may be a phenomenon, but it is one that has continued to reoccur and is synonymous with violence and hatred towards foreigners. Over the last couple of years, foreign nationals, including Nigerians, have fallen victims to the hateful attacks.
Nigeria has sent a special envoy.
This, the Executive Secretary of National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, condemns. He also appeals to Nigerians not to take laws into their hands.
For a permanent solution to the ongoing xenophobic attacks in South Africa, that the International Criminal Court must hold accountable the government officials that through their comments or actions have supported this and have fueled these xenophobic attacks that have become systemic.
Mr. Ojukwu urges governments to conduct an inquest to determine the number of lives lost and extent of damage to properties belonging to Nigerians so as to ensure due compensation to the victims and their families. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
Thank you, Francis. And now I have with me in the studio the former Nigerian ambassador to Liberia, Ayo Adigun, to talk more on the issue of xenophobic attack. It's good to have you on News Extra tonight, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
So, what are your reactions when you heard about these attacks, even though, it happened sometime 2 years back and then now it's happening?
Well, this is not my first time of hearing this. It's been long, since 2008. We've spoken on this many times on NTA, even 2013 when the thing escalated. Killing the all other African countries, because initially it started like Afrophobia. That's all African. They were estimated that almost 14 million or so black Africans were in South Africa because of the various conflicts going on and because of colonization. But if you look at it this way, after apartheid has been eradicated, Nigeria, we can't, everybody knows at the international community, United Nations, African Union, the role Nigeria played right from independence when we became independent in 1960. And our forefathers initiated what Nigeria foreign policy direction should be. It was a manifest destiny to see Africa as a centerpiece. And we have been using that all along to help. And Nigeria determined that we have gotten an independence, and no other Nigeria independence will not be complete until all other countries in Africa under colonialism are freed. And that was what Nigeria did. We started also apartheid to liquidate apartheid, that obnoxious policy of discrimination on race basis. And we did a lot of things, in the Southern Africa. We helped in most of the frontline states, Zambia, Mozambique, Angola. They all got their independence through some of the efforts Nigeria spearheaded at the United Nations. And we were also having the anti-apartheid committee, both at the UN and so what I see is that this should stop.
It should stop.
It should stop. Nigeria cannot continue to condone this. We have said this a long time ago, and the time is now.
The time is now.
Yes.
Okay, how would you rate the government's reaction so far?
Well, for the first time, Nigeria has taken the appropriate principle stand based on diplomatic relations. We don't believe in tit for tat diplomacy. All we need to do is to use diplomatic solution to the matter. The first thing is to ensure that the president sent a special expert to South Africa. They will go and look at the situation, dialogue with the government of South Africa, because the government of South Africa has the responsibility to make sure that this thing is resolved. Then, in the resolution, in fact, we have to give a warning to other African countries.
So what you're saying now is that so far so good. The federal government
so good. They must discuss it. South Africa must pay reparation for both the properties of the Nigeria destroyed and the life killed. Because also this thing is important. Under international law, the government of South Africa is liable to have allowed this xenophobia to degenerate into this crisis proportion.
So lastly, what would you say to Nigerians? We've got
Nigeria
we've had reactions from Lagos and other.
Yes, Nigeria should not. I don't believe in retaliation. It will hurt more. It will not allow for proper diplomatic settlement. Tit for that diplomacy is not diplomacy. Okay. If they begin to attack South Africa, they also have interest in these businesses, and it will hurt us more.
Okay, so
that is my position. So be patient and wait for what government will do, and it is very clear to me that government is going to come out with the solution that at the end of the day, no other country will do this to Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for having you on News Extra tonight. And that was Ambassador Ayo Adigun. He was a former ambassador to Liberia. Now, if there is one thing lovers and critics of the Buhari administration all agreed upon, is that the fact that the infrastructural development has taking to the next level. With the next level agenda, more is in the pipeline, and that is why the federal government is promising to collaborate effectively with the Nigerian Society of Engineers. President Muhammadu Buhari, who stated this while granting audience to the Executive Council members of the society, maintains that Nigeria's problem require unique Nigerian solution. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Over the years, Nigerian engineers have been recognized globally for carrying out amazing and impactful projects. This is not the case here at home.
For decades, President Muhammadu Buhari said the enabling environment was simply not provided for the nation's innovative and creative professionals to flourish and showcase the country as an engineering hub.
Many nations we look up to are those with adequate and accessible infrastructure, power, and water resources. They achieved this by embracing engineering and, of course, engineers.
In Nigeria, he, however, laments the infrastructure deficit continued to grow and quality remains on the decline despite the engineers and technicians produced in their numbers by the various academic and vocational institutions. The president said to reverse this trend, his administration introduced executive orders and other policy initiatives aimed at creating the enabling environment for engineers to succeed and thrive. Several infrastructure development and rehabilitation projects have also been embarked upon, in addition to prioritizing local content in the nation's procurement process.
I am therefore pleased to hear that you are seeing and feeling the impact of these policies. I will ask that you continue to support the government at all levels so that we can collectively work to build a more prosperous society. I will look forward to our continued partnership as we transform Nigeria into the nation of our dreams.
The president of the Council of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Adekunle Mukolu, had told the president that they were in the State House to formally thank him for the enormous work being done towards putting Nigeria back on the path of development. The council is particularly delighted over the government's recognition of the importance of engineers to the advancement of the Nigerian nation, promising that its members will never be disappointing.
Given our training and experiences on cost and appraising, we urge Mr. President, sir, to involve the Nigerian set of engineers at the conceptual and initial stages of the processes for new engineering projects, particularly the one tied to loans. We can add value to ensuring stress-free repayments, increasing local capacity for those skills and the knowledge and materials required for delivery. By so doing, we can guarantee, Mr. President, sir, that Nigeria will be in a position to give loans to other countries that may need our assistance in the future. In order to prove our professional proficiency, we humbly request you, sir, to assign to members of the Nigerian set of engineers 1 or 2 engineering projects as a challenge to provide solutions in planning, design, and construction.
With enormous strength of membership and a network of 75 branches across Nigeria and another 2 in the diaspora, harnessing the intellectual resources of the nation's engineers abroad, the council believes that its members have much more to offer in driving the next level agenda for sustainable economic and infrastructure development. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Federal government directs governors and traditional rulers of Taraba and Benue states to call to order those fueling the recurrent Tiv Jukun crisis. Details when News Extra returns.
Now me I go ask and say, why all of us go pay 100,000 naira? Say your husband, he want do 70th birthday. She now all of us marry them together. When her mama die, she collects money. Her papa die, she collects money. Her mama die, she collects. You remember when she talked, say she wanted her mama dead body. Mama, you too talk. Now you be glad when they dash me credit anyhow. Imagine, 40-year-old dead body. Why you they laugh now? Now try to bring your money. Mama, no laugh. Not be you, Jare. Now some apropos customer there when they know they mind their own business. Whoa, I never even begin to give you her gist.
Glow and Maple. Get 5 times your recharge to call all networks. Recharge with *555*PIN#.
Make her sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
This is to inform all eligible customers with Port Harcourt, Jos, Anambra, Ikeja, and Eko electricity distribution areas that there will be a public consultation on Competition Transition Charge (CTC) being organized by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC). This follows similar consultation workshops on CTC held in Abuja, Kano, and Kaduna in July 2019. The venue for the events are as follows: Transcorp Hotel, Calabar, the Emerald's House, Oka, the Crest Hotel, Jos, Eko Hotel and Suites, Lagos. Dates are 6th and 10th September 2019. Industry stakeholders, consumer groups, the general public, and other interested parties are invited. Check www.nerc.gov.ng for further details. Signed, Management.
Yeah, Mom, you are extraordinary. You always go the extra mile to make sure my breakfast is made with extra nutritious Milo. I want to say a big thank you. You are extra precious and extra super.
Milo is thanking moms for being extraordinary by giving the family an extra 50 grams of delicious Milo for every 500-gram pouch bought. Don't miss out. Offer valid while stocks last.
#555*PIN#. Make I sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Good to have you back on News Extra. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo would be participating in the 2019 African Green Revolution Forum AGRF in Accra, Ghana, themed Grow Digital, leveraging digital transformation to drive sustainable food systems in Africa. The forum, which opened on the 3rd of September, will be taking place through the 6th of September 2019 at the Accra International Conference Center. A press release by Laolo Akande, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, states that the conference presents a premier platform for African and global leaders from both the public and private sectors to advance policies, programs and investments, as well as harnessing agriculture in ensuring food security, increasing income, and promoting economic development in the continent. Vice President Osinbajo and the other leaders at the forum will share their experiences in capturing the gains of the digital era to improve food systems, increase adaptation, and drive innovation to achieve the goals laid out in the Malabo Declaration of the African Union 2014 and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, set by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 for the year 2030. Osinbajo departs Abuja today and is expected back tomorrow in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has called on Director Generals and Chief Executives of agencies in the culture sector to explore culture as a potent tool for promoting peace and sustainable development in the country. The minister handed down the call when he received in audience the Director Generals and the executive officers of the agencies in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The minister told the CEOs that the challenge handed them to explore and exploit the possibility of using culture as a tool for peace and sustainable development in the country is necessitated by the myriad of social vices plaguing the society.
These problems are not unconnected to the breakdown in moral values and increasing disregard for our cultural values.
Lai Mohammed reminded the DGs and CEOs of the role of culture in ensuring societal peace and sustainable development, as well as strengthening international relations, which was at the core of this year's World Cultural Day with the theme Culture for Sustainable Peace and Development. The minister maintained that at the moment, Nigeria needs cultural renaissance in order to inculcate the desired values that promotes peace and unity among the citizens.
We must also use cultural diplomacy to help reduce incidences like the ongoing xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa, which has led to deaths and loss of livelihood for many of our citizens living in South Africa.
In his remarks, the leader of the delegation and the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Segun Rushewe, said the DGs and CEOs came to congratulate him and thank President Muhammadu Buhari for reappointing him as the Minister of Information and Culture.
I want to assure you, sir, on behalf of my colleagues that I stayed here, if what we gave to you last time was cooperation, what we are going to give to you this time will be a marriage of success for our great country. And that's why we've all come together to put this across to you.
He added that the minister's efforts will go down on record that he will be the longest serving minister in the sector from what has happened now, as this is the first time a minister is being returned to his seat in that sector. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the Secretary to the Federal Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, as a hardworking and committed public official. In a goodwill message he sent to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to mark his 63rd birthday anniversary, the President commended the zeal at which Bas Mustafa discharges his duties for the progress of Nigeria. He also expressed satisfaction with his conduct as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, wishing him many happy returns. And in another development, Nigerians, irrespective of their educational status and location, are creative, innovative, and industrious. Their creativity is noticeable in all aspects of the country's socio-economic well-being, be it construction, fashion technology, name it. To this end, the federal government, through the Ministry of Science and Technology, is to create a platform that will encourage commercialization of innovations and research of Nigerians. The minister, Dr. Bonaya Onu, stated this, affirmed that this will be helpful in establishing valuable startups that will rejuvenate the small and medium-scale enterprises. Justin Bemunyi reports.
The Federal Ministry of Science and Technology under the present administration, having flipped over 4 years behind and 5 years now counting, with the reappointment of the minister, has sustained a vision to ensure that science, technology and innovation holds the key to the success of the economy diversification program of the federal government. The ministry has affirmed that during this period, it succeeded in creating a strong consciousness in the minds of Nigerians that science, technology and innovation remains the right way to go in building the nation, as it worked hard in formulating and implementing many policies. These include the Science, Technology and Innovation Roadmap 2017 to 2023, the National Strategy for Competitiveness in Raw Materials and Product Development, Nigeria's First Labour Policy and the Executive Order No. 5, which the ministry says has helped to champion the course of moving Nigeria from a resource-based to a knowledge-based, innovation-driven economy. The ministry now is determined to take a path to deploy technology to help realize the present administration's aspiration that in 10 years from now, 100 million Nigerians will be out of poverty.
To achieve this requires the private sector utilizing the technologies developed by this ministry to convert ideas that would have remained as research findings in the laboratories to products and services made available in the marketplace for all to buy. This will provide the needed jobs.
The priority for the ministry now is to pursue the Executive Order No. 5 as a law to give bite to its implementation. This, the minister says, is among other programs such as achieving food security, fighting corruption, exploiting renewable energy, developing appropriate technology to give transparent elections and the nation's security. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The inauguration of 42 ministers by the president last month set in the motion the next level agenda with a firm commitment on transforming Nigeria's economy through exemplary leadership. Guests on NTA's current affairs program Tuesday Live advocates the need for the private sector to consolidate on productive initiatives of the federal government for the good of Nigerians. Do India reports.
In achieving the set targets and growing the nation's economy, there is a clear need to boost activities to grow the local economy. Guests on NTA Tuesday Live assert that government's huge spending in critical infrastructure becomes more meaningful only when it has direct bearing on the people. This, according to them, is where the private sector comes in.
But now that we're talking about the next 4 years, I can assure you that we want to be held to account for every promise or every projection that has been made on this platform.
The corruption is with impunity. The chief or the head is involved. So everybody is free for all. But now there is a stop to certain level.
You don't need to look at Abuja or even your state capital for redemption. Your redemption is nearest to you, your local government.
The consensus on these platforms sprang from the need for key private sector players to key into public policy actions with capacity to open opportunities for the expansion of small and medium enterprises in the country.
We are coming from an economy that historically are dependent on a single mono product, and it's vulnerable to whatever the temperament of the global market is. And to that extent, we must take time to start looking inward.
Every Nigerian citizen who is running a small-scale operation, a medium-scale enterprise, is going to be eligible to access up to 1 million naira in interest-free loans. I'm talking about hairdressers, car mechanics, plumbers, carpenters, tailors, farmers, market traders, everybody.
The move to take millions of Nigerians out of poverty may not be far-fetched if Nigerians join hands with the government to drive its vision. In Abuja, doing Dia, NT News.
Now, for those who love Plateau State and visit just regularly, I advise you to keep in touch with the cold city because you might go there in the nearest future and lose your way around. I say this because in its quest to upgrade Jos Metropolis to a better cosmopolitan status, Plateau State government has embarked on aggressive urban renewal, which is already at advanced stage of completion. Ali Sabatu Andrew went around the city and brings this report.
This is the popular old airport roundabout, which has the highest number of roads linking to 4 major areas of the metropolis. including Rayfield, the seat of government.
Some notable infrastructure and rehabilitation projects going on simultaneously in Jos City includes modification of major roundabouts with towers and monuments, installations of solar-powered streetlights, which has given the government Rayfield area and other parts of the city a befitting look at night. Aside this, the planting of ornamental trees and lush green flowers, as well as reconstruction of some failed road networks and drainages, are all parts of efforts to upgrade the look of Jos City.
Aesthetics beauty of the state is indeed truly being enhanced.
Trying to keep the place clean and beautiful, I think it goes a long way to say that that is what we are well known for. I believe it's a right step in the right direction.
There is a lot of improvement. The road congestion is highly decongested.
We want to commend individuals and government that are making effort to keep the state clean. So more effort should be geared towards improving on what they are currently doing.
Reacting to the development, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong restated his administration's commitment to expanding economic ventures, double infrastructure, aggressive urban renewal program, and promotion of young talents.
Once the environment is peaceful, all you need to do is to again provide the enabling environment for business. Like the CFOs that we have done, I cut the price to 50%, and we are facilitating even the pace of obtaining the CFO. We are improving on our power system, and so the light in this place is different from what you used to see.
The expectation of government is that in the next few months, when these projects are completed, Jos will join other cities in Nigeria with cosmopolitan status. In Jos, Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
I will say kudos to the Plateau State government. Now, it's teaching time, they say, saves 9. NIMET warned residents of Makudi, the Benue State capital, especially those at the bank of River Benue, who are getting apprehensive as the volume of water continue to rise day by day. The Commissioner of Water Resources and Environment, Benue State, says the government is monitoring the development and affirms that the current level is close to that of 2012 that submerged many homes and farmlands.
Following the persistent downpour at the upper Benue, the volume of water at the river Benue has maintained a steady rise well above the 10 meters, which is the burst level.
At the moment, as the water continues to surge, it gives signals to people living close to the river Benue that disaster is in the offing.
Magaji Loko, who carries out sand excavation business at the banks of the river, explains that the upsurge has not only hampered various activities, but it has become a threat to residents.
Ending of the August, because the water is there. Then they walk there, then they pursue, come small, and they reach here. Water they call anytime, in the night, in the afternoon, in the morning.
The boats that you are seeing here at the moment are at the premises of the National Inland Waterways Authority, Area Office, Makudi. The level of the River Benue at the moment is beginning to threaten the office, and that is why something needs to be done quickly to ensure that the office is not sacked.
Commissioner for Water Resources and Environment, Dondo Ahiri, who described the current level as alarming, calls on residents of various areas affected by the 2012 flooding to vacate immediately.
It's as high as the level we had in 2012. So it portends a lot of danger for residents who are living in flood-prone areas.
He further said that the situation would be worsened if water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon is released. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
This next story is a good example of different strokes for different folks. While Makudi residents are worried about flood, their Aloji counterparts in Kogi are making a passionate appeal to the government to come to their aid due to erosion, which has cut them off from other parts of the local government area. Jacob Sani visited the community and brought back this report.
The gully
boundary erosion, which started some years ago, according to investigation by NT News, has cut off Aloji community, known to be one of the district headquarters in the local government area of Kogi State. The natural disaster has already separated only government institutions established some decades.
See, all of our buildings falling because of this thing.
We have farm for this across this gutter here. We cannot enter our farm. All the food we planted for there has destroyed.
Our streams, the streams we fetch from within here are located along this side.
Equally affected the shortest link to their neighboring communities.
This is the primary school that was established in 1949. This is where myself and others also started their primary school. But unfortunately, the primary school is now cut off from the rest community.
With the rainfall now at its peak, the people say their life is in danger.
I want to call on the government at all levels, Kogi State government and the federal government, to come to the aid of the community.
The erosion you are seeing here in Aloji community is a reflection of what happened in other local government area of Kogi State. Jacob Sani, NT News.
There can be no meaningful development without peace, and peace thrives where there is collective effort. This is why the federal government has directed the governors of Taraba and Benue states, as well as the Tortiv and Aku of Wukari, to call everyone feeling the recurrent Tiv-Jukun crisis to order for peace to prevail. Secretary to the government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, who chaired a peace meeting among stakeholders from the two states in Abuja, says government is willing to implement far-reaching resolutions that will end the crisis. Mitari Ikben reports.
Political and traditional leaders from Taraba and Benue states arrived the Shehu Musa Yaradua Center. It is for a crucial meeting to reach a truce on the recurrent hostilities between the Tiv and Jukun ethnic groups, fueled by indigenous settler claims and land disputes. Everyone seems to agree that the killings and hostilities are needless, including the recent murder of a reverend father in Takum, local government area of Taraba State.
As a former leader in this country, I should be able to go anywhere and speak on behalf of the Jukuns if their interests are threatened in Nigeria.
Nobody can establish and grow this peace for us.
There is nothing like peace. Peace is paramount.
And I think me and you, we are very capable of solving this problem. We therefore wish to call on the federal government to intervene in the crisis by providing us with adequate security, which we all know the two state governments don't have control of.
The royal fathers also lent their voices to the clamor for peace.
I want to talk about issues that will promote peace. So all these things I did it with genuine interest of bringing peace.
Aggregating their submissions, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, said President Buhari is committed to fostering peace between the warring communities.
We would stand with you. We will do everything within the instrumentality of government facilities and actions that are supposed to be taken. After you have resolved the issues you want us to address, we will take them up.
Expectations are high that this peace meeting at the instance of President Muhammadu Buhari has set in motion peace-building processes that will bring to an end recurrent hostilities between the Tiv and Jukun ethnic groups in Taraba and Benue states. From the Shehu Musa Yaradua Center, Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Mitari, for that. And do you know that the temporary closure of the border in some states is checking illegal entry of assorted food items and also improving security in the states? You may say how. Well, we'll bring you details when we return. Please stay.
Like this before. Many kaja that wolf they wait to now for this season. For the Dangote bag of goodies, scratch and win promo. 43 tier over cars, over 200 million naira money cash, tricycles, motorcycles, refrigerators, televisions, and plenty other gifts. Where you stay fit to win, no. Only the way you need to do to win now to just buy one bag of Dangote special larger bag of goodies cement, check inside the bag for scratch card. Scratch the card and anything what you see inside now you don't win so. Come carry your scratch card to that Dangote depot where they near you. Carry am go regional office or wholesale shop where they your area. So you go fit to collect it till you win in sharply. As you buy more bags, now be say you get more opportunity to win plenty more better. Check posters and newspapers for more story. The promo go day from July 1st to September 31st, 2019.
Everybody dance now. What? Louder. We are the strongest. No challenge can stop us. Oh Lord, and we are the brightest. No darkness can blind us. We are the strongest.
Malta Guinness is packed with B vitamins to fuel your greatness on the go.
Hey you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in day your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oga Legova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if you carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it.
Go for football. Go for all Serie A and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is Village Master tune.
So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village Master is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Master family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our Golden Jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
Welcome back. We now pause here in Abuja to join Abolade Salami in Lagos live for business news. Abolade, it's over to you.
Thank you, Fatima, and welcome to Lagos. The Minister of State Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, has emphasized the need for coordination of the activities of development partners in Nigeria, saying it will now be compulsory in order to achieve aid effectiveness and efficiency. The minister said this at the high-level roundtable meeting on national donor coordination held at the Ministry of Finance, Abuja. He also revealed that the ministry has already finalized the official development assistance policy, which seeks to maximize the benefits of international assistance and ensure alignment with national priorities. He called on donors and partners to update their reports in the development assistance database system domiciled in the ministry, and also channel all their interventions through the ministry, which is the country's gateway to development assistance. Intense effort by the federal government to encourage the patronage of made-in-Nigerian products is aimed at conserving the nation's foreign reserve, as well as help strengthen the naira against the dollar. Industry players, while describing the initiative as key to driving financial self-dependency, called for full compliance. Nigeria, regarded as the heartbeat of Africa with respect to our diverse natural resources, population strength and huge market space for businesses to thrive, over the years had depended largely on importation of some products that can be sourced locally. Worried by this trend, the federal government, as part of measures to reduce this practice, with a view to growing Nigeria's domestic market, placed restriction of forex on importation of products. A move industry players described as beneficial to boost domestic markets and add value to the production of small and medium-scale enterprises.
In terms of government pronouncements and policies, government has done very well. We have the Executive Order 003, we have the Procurement Act, and we have the constant campaign by government that Nigerians will patronize made in Nigerian products. And in some respects, we have seen that government has made effort.
That use made in Nigeria, use what we produce and consume what we produce. No country can be great without the support of its own populace.
They submitted that collaborative effort be strengthened between the government and organized private sector to ensure implementation. And now let's talk a bit of equities. The second quarter GDP figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics may have shaped investors' confidence in the market as the two-day rally could not sustain its run after close of Wednesday's trading. Here are details of midweek trading activities. Activities dipped by 0.9% to close the all-share index below the 29,000 psychological line. Traded number of shares finished at 250 million, valued at 3.19 billion naira, which changed hands in 3,219 deals, with a market capitalization of 13.2 trillion naira. On the activity chart, International Brewery, WAPCO, and GlaxoSmith appreciated in figures, while on the flip side, Nestle, Guinness, and Dangote Cement declined in figures. On sectoral performance, virtually all sectors closed in the red, except for NSE Industrial, that went up slightly by 0.29%, while NSE Banking, Consumer Goods, Insurance, and Oil and Gas closed in the red, depreciating by 0.74%, 2.19%, 1.02%, and 0.79%. And that's a wrap on business. It's back to Fatima in Abuja for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very, very much, Abolade. Now, job creation drive, safety and security of cargoes and trucks, in addition to revenue generation to federal, state and local governments, have been enhanced in Yobe State. This positive scenario is courtesy of Governor Maimalabune, who laid the foundation for the construction of a modern truck transit park and mechanics village in Patiskum town. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports.
The truck transit park, located along Bochi-Kano bypass in Patiskum town, is sitting on a 50 hectares of land with additional 50 hectares allocated for mechanics village. The modern multi-million naira project was conceived by Yobe State government to be executed in partnership with the Nigerian Shippers Council and meant to create jobs, wealth, and revenue generation, in addition to ensuring safety and security for cargoes and trucks in transit, as well as decongesting the cosmopolitan town of trailers.
These jobs and their positive spin-offs will certainly transform wealth creation in Yobe State and improve the economy overall.
Statistics from the Yobe State chapter of the National Association of Road Transport Owners indicate that Patiskum town receives 300 articulated vehicles on daily basis, with 280 others leaving the town to various destinations within and outside the country.
Transport is a critical determinant in the conduct of domestic and international trade.
Stakeholders in the transport sector believe that situating such modern transport infrastructure in the area will no doubt accelerate socio-economic activities across the state. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
And since the advent of technology, nations have not relented in boosting and advancing technological skills and development. As Nigeria's foremost development finance institution, the Bank of Industry, BOI, continues to partner organizations to build and strengthen entrepreneurs' capacity. It has inaugurated a tech hub to serve the burning desires of youth and entrepreneurs in the Aja axis of Lagos State. Adiola Omokive has the details.
This inauguration of a tech hub by the representative of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is to further boost and create opportunity for the teeming youths and entrepreneurs to have access to quality tech hub. The initiative is also supportive of the state's use of cutting-edge technology to do business.
Bank of Industry in specific is making an investment in mind, investment in people, so that they can take advantage of a facility.
Managing Director, Bank of Industry, Kayode Piton, said the bank recognizes ingenuity and creativity among Nigerian youths, which propelled the management of the bank to promote skills development in new technology and innovation.
You can come here, you can register. There are already companies who are here, who are doing business. Another thing that we are doing with this is to show people that there's business opportunities in this area. So we would like people to partner, come up with their capital and set up this type of hubs in different places. There are many Nigerians who want to use them.
The tech hub, which boasts of a robotics lab, had children between the ages of 10 and 16 displaying their creativity before the dignitaries.
I just thought it was just making of robots and rubbish, but in the middle, it became so interesting.
This tech hub provides for us an environment for us to come to work at a very affordable rate.
We are priming the generation of what is going to obtain in the 21st generation.
Situated at kilometer 25, Lekki-Ekpe Expressway, the Bank of Industry and Vertebra Skill Hub has several facilities ranging from conference room, robotics lab, idea creative section to a server room. In Lagos, Adeyola Omokive, NTA News.
Very interesting one, I must say. Now, point of sale. I'm sure many do not know that's what POS means. Well, know it now. It's point of sale. Back to the story. POS have tremendously grown with presence in every nook and cranny of the country. Despite the viability of the innovation, POS operators have become appealing targets for criminal elements since the operators deal with cash. Olajide Bello examines this on the heels of the murder of one of the POS operators in Akure, Ondo State.
The deployment of technology into banking operations in Nigeria gave rise to point of sale, otherwise known as POS. Today, the POS, run mostly by private individuals with attachments to various commercial banks, are rendering banking services, especially to the unbanked.
When you go to the bank now, you will be on queue for some times. But when you go to POS, any area where they are doing POS, the thing will reduce. You don't even have much stress on it again.
This shop belongs to 29-year-old Nafisat Ibrahim, a POS operator who was allegedly shot last week. Like many of the operators, Nafisat operated her POS business from this ramshackle kiosk located in the open along a major street. So the issue of security of operators of POS and their funds remains a major worry both to the operators and law enforcement agents.
There's no security at all because like what happened to our neighbor, so it's brought more fear. They came here to attack my husband. That is the face of the bullets.
The police say while it may be practically impossible to provide security for each and every POS operator in the state, those managing such outlets will have to ensure that steps are taken to secure themselves and their cash.
We have rejigged our security architecture to ensure that things like that don't happen. And for the one that has happened, we are going to dig into it to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. Also want to advise too that operators of this type of business should always be very mindful of their environment. They should always be mindful of the time they do this type of business.
While investigation by the police is continuing towards unraveling those behind the gruesome murder of Miss Nafisat, the critical challenge is how to secure other operators of POS business in the interest of public safety. From Akure, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Yeah, some question there, Olajide. Now, markets as a place of business transactions is one of the components of a city and a major source of government's internally generated revenue. A siting of a market helps in planning the aesthetics of a locality and assists in proper documentation and data generation. Why then would traders prefer to abandon the market for illegal and indiscriminate erection of shops and shanties, even on the major streets, thereby defacing the city and obstructing traffic? That is the focus of this special report by Chiduma Tasi.
The people of the southeast geopolitical zone of the country are synonymous with commerce, which is buying and selling, and their trade expertise is practiced beyond their home states. The market, no doubt, remains the traditional center of buying and selling in Nigeria, especially in Abia State. However, the marketplaces in the state in recent times have been facing challenges of inadequate facilities. This is one of the reasons traders say they find it difficult to comply with market guidelines. Erection of substandard stores in unapproved areas has become the order of the day. In Abia State, the Ubani ultra-modern market, also known as Dubai market, is one of such markets where traders are refusing to cooperate, thereby giving government officials a hard time.
I'm urging them to cooperate with government so that they will move peacefully, so that there will be no need whatsoever to hunt and hound people from one place to another.
The traders, however, attribute their action to low turnout of buyers at the market, blaming it on those who shed their wares on the roads. Illegal shops scattered all over the town and the infrastructural collapse of the markets.
The thing they vessels well. The thing they make, some people know they enter here, come they buy market, that place, them bulk cost there.
I want them to come and take care of this market and build it, rebuild it.
The Umar Dubai market, according to stakeholders, if properly harnessed and given an infrastructural facelift, will, among other things, improve internally generated revenue of the state, as well as tackle the problem of unemployment. In Umar, Chidema Tasi, NTA News.
And from Umar here down to Jigawa. The famous Maigatari town in Jigawa State is now a ghost of its usual self, as the hustle and bustle that characterized the international border community are being brought to a standstill due to the partial closure of the border with neighboring Niger. Correspondent Ibrahim Belogunda reports that barely 2 weeks after its introduction, the policy is yielding positive results in curtailing smuggling activities and transborder crimes.
Located about 230 kilometers from Dutse, the Jigawa state capital, Maigatari is an international border community with Zender state in Niger Republic. The border town was made famous by its weekly international cattle market, while on the other hand, economic saboteurs take advantage of its strategic location to perpetrate smuggling activities. However, a visit to the area revealed that this narrative has changed due to total shutdown of entry and exit points of the two neighboring countries. The streets of Maigatari that used to be a beehive of activities are deserted due to the enforcement of the movement restriction order. A cross-section of residents urge Nigerians to take such government policies in good faith and best interest of the country.
It's just a temporary assignment. It's going to affect our economy probably, but it's going to be 2 weeks. But at least for our security purpose.
The enlightened ones among the citizens that have goodwill, that have hope that the closure will result a positive result. They take things the way it comes, and they are hopeful that the situation will be better.
Effort to speak to the comptroller's Nigerian Customs Service Kano Jigawa Command was not successful. However, in a phone conversation, the Nigerian Customs Service National Public Relations Officer, Deputy Comptroller Joseph Atta says the exercise is receiving huge success across the country. The exercise is to rid Nigeria's maritime and land border of transborder crimes and criminality. Although there is no date as to when the exercise will end, the Office of the National Security Advisor is monitoring the operation and receiving reports before arriving at further decisions. In Dutse, Ibrahim Belogunda, NTA News.
And the story is no different from the president's home state, as Shehu Adamu visited the manager, Jibia border town, and says the temporary closure of the border is checking illegal entry of assorted food items into Nigeria and improving security in Katsina state.
This is Magama Jibia border in Katsina state, major gateway to Nigeria from Republic of Niger and to Niger from Nigeria, as directed by the federal government since the 19th of August 2019. The border is restricted from all kind of movement except people that are coming into Nigeria with valid traveling documents. Prior to the temporary closure, assorted food items such as foreign rice flooded markets in Katsina with less patronage of the locally produced rice and other crops. However, the strict compliance at the Magama-Jibia border is booming commercial activities of locally produced assorted food items in Katsina State.
I told you, many prefer locally produced rice because of its quality in terms of taste.
At the border posts, loaded trucks from Niger Republic that could not get entry into Nigeria before the closure are still waiting at the border until the temporary closure is suspended. There were mixed reactions among the drivers who claim ignorance of reasons behind the closure.
I'm optimistic. The closure is with good intention.
The Sector 4 Coordinator, National Border Drill Operations, Katsina, ACG Bashir Abubakar, expressed appreciation with the understanding of the general public and reiterated federal government commitment at improving the lives of its people.
So I will call on the citizen to watch their left and right. As a matter of fact, they should liaise with the security agencies to expose smugglers.
ACG Bashir Abubakar also warned smugglers to refrain from the trend as the fight against the menace will continue with vigor. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
Let's now migrate down to the southwest and see what's happening at the borders there. You know, down there, the border closure has, in the last 2 weeks, generated a lot of talks and concerns, resulting in mixed blessings for all stakeholders. Adebola Ogunlana, however, reports that the closure has recorded successes with the seizure made by Osun Command of the Customs Service.
The closure of the borders across the country has enabled the Osun Command to make seizures of 600 bags of rice and 9 vehicles in less than 2 weeks. Comptroller Nigerian Customs Service Osun Command, who made this disclosure, also said the implementation had rendered smugglers impotent.
So people still have the fear that if you pass this one, you might not scale the next one. Even those that goes out to buy even a bag of rice, we don't allow. Since government said anything, so nothing goes out, nothing comes in.
However, members of the public are lamenting the effect of the closure on goods and commodity.
Positive of it is that it will improve our economy. So the people, those domestic products, people will be patronizing it.
It affects Nigeria anyway, and it's very choke, very difficult. It is not so easy even to get a rice. Even in local area, to get a cup of rice is very difficult.
Supposed to open the border again, please. That rice is our main food that we are eating in Nigeria.
It is believed that with these closures, Nigerians will have no other choice than to embrace famine. From Ibadan, Adebola Ogunlana, NTA News.
All Nigerians and rice, I wouldn't blame her. Now, do you know that there is a city in Nigeria without taxis? Does it mean that everybody in that particular city has cars? Well, find out when we come back after the break.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shangalo. Oga Lekuva, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one.
A spear into the top corner.
We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for it. Go for football. Go for all Syria and La Liga matches live. Go for GoTV Max.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Katsina is still with us on News Extra. Agitations and grievances harbored by most Niger Deltans, especially in the areas of infrastructure development, unemployment, environmental degradation and insecurity may soon be rested. This is because the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Gusula Pabio, is determined to change the status quo of the region. Joseph Johnson, who was at a policy meeting between the ministry and management team of the Niger Delta Development Commission, says the minister frowned at the poor performance of the commission.
The plight of the Niger Delta region is no longer news, but then many say it remains a tale of poverty and gross underdevelopment, even in the midst of plenty. But this time, a different approach is to be employed to fast-track development. That is what the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Gusula Pabio, is emphasizing in this meeting. His countenance, however, is different from the usual lively one. That perhaps explains his disappointment in the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for not recording any legacy project. We must deliver and demonstrate measurable results, he says.
There are a lot of complaints all over. Even the youths of the Niger Delta, the real youths of the Niger Delta, who undertook what you call just clearance of water hyacinths. They have not been paid. Those that are paid are political youths, not the real youths. People that you owe just 500,000 to 1 million are over 400, and they have been going to NDDC for 10 years. The money has not been given to them. We talk about NDDC as if it is a cash cow, but today I know that NDDC, in terms of debts, at least what you pile up, you are owing over 2 trillion. And the problem we are having is that you won't even know the ones that are real when they are mixed with the ones that are political. My mind is that we have to refocus the NDDC.
I assure that on my own part, there will be adequate supervision of the staff and the projects in the region. And also, adequate measures will be taken to see that the environment of the Niger Delta region is in good shape.
Going by this renewed collaboration, politically motivated projects, embezzlement of funds, and delays in remedial efforts towards Ogoni land cleanup, hopefully, are expected to be addressed.
For those who may not be very comfortable with the word transformation, well, they might need to change their vocabulary or even their worldview, as the uncommon transformer, as he is popularly called, is on the block. And he says he's hitting the ground running. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
And we wish him all the best as he hits the ground running. Lagos, with its population of about 200 million, comes with its peculiarities, one of which is loss of man-hours on the road that often results to motorists navigating bad portions. This narrative is fast changing as there have been concerted efforts at repairing strategic roads in the state for better accessibility. Dotun Ogunyemi reports.
Those who say they are not in Lagos to count bridges cannot, however, deny knowing either Ojuelegba, Domalong, or the Alaka Ijora bridges. For quite some time, these bridges have been subjected to truck parks, leading to their dilapidation. As at today, the bridges are at different stages of completion following repair works being carried out, which have considerably reduced traffic, especially at peak periods. Pavement works and resurfacing, replacement of expansion joints, installation of guardrails, and distilling of drainages are part of works considered in the project.
Towards the time when there was a lot of traffic, a lot of trucks along this road, it wasn't accessible. It was a horrible experience. But now we can see there is a change.
The Independence Bridge in Victoria Island is also under repair. Crash barriers, retaining walls, guardrails and solar streetlights are part of the new infrastructure, and the promise is that more roads will be fixed soon.
Serious work is going on there, a complete rehabilitation of that road. And then we also have along Apapa, Oshodi, Oroshoki to Ojota. Then, of course, Lagos Ibadan is there. And then Truck Park is there. Lagos Badagry, a section of it from Agbara to Badagry. Work is ongoing on all those sections.
Motorists are more confident than ever before using the roads, as they say that repair works have now made the roads better motorable. They are, however, calling on the federal government to ensure that trucks do not return in Lagos. Dotun Okuyemi, NTA News.
In the meantime, motorists and commuters alike along Ilobo-Osogbo-Ogbomosho Road in Plateau State will soon have cause to rejoice as the federal government resumes the construction of Ojutu Bridge at Ilobu, end of Osogbo-Ogbomosho Highway for easier commuting. Correspondent Tope Alabi reports that motorists are not only happy but are eagerly waiting for speedy completion of the 45-meter-long bridge project.
The Osogbo-Ogbomosho Road is one of the major interstate roads in Osun State and a gateway to the northern part of the country. The current intervention by the federal government on the road is to replace the over 50-year-old Ojutu Bridge at Ilobu area for easier commuting and improved economic activities in the two states. The 45-meter-long reinforced concrete bridge was awarded in 2017 at a cost of 538.89 million naira, out of which 291.83 million naira has been released.
But I'm advising them to finish on time.
I believe if the government is able to finish it, it will enhance the accessibility of the people coming from, it's interstate.
It's just an evidence that there's hope for Ilobu people, Ifa people, and everybody along these axes.
It is a great relief for our vehicle and passengers. We are very happy for this intervention.
It is a great advantage for us. In fact, we are praying for federal government, as our mind will be at rest when completed.
Currently, the bridge project is at 46% completion, as explained by the Federal Controller of Works, Osun State.
All the problems or challenges we had at the beginning of this project, we have overcome them, because the project will have been completed if not the challenges of the science and the design, the challenges of water being released from the dam, or dam being closed the other end, or maybe of the upstream or downstream. And before the end of the year, we hope to finish this bridge.
Road users are hopeful of better days ahead when the federal government project is completed. From the Ojutu Bridge in Ilobu, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
If you have been to Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, or plan to get there anytime soon, one unique feature about it, negative or positive, is the absence of commercial buses and taxi operators, unlike most towns and cities in Nigeria. So what are the options to commuters? Well, your guess may be as good as mine as we hear the rest of the story from Hamza Musa Makarfi.
Around the north-central zone of Nigeria, Lafia is said to have the highest number of Okada and Keke and other highly populated areas of the state. A commuter either takes one or trek to a chosen destination. The business is simply phenomenal because of high patronage and returns. With intervention on infrastructure development by the government, it is smooth sailing by operators or roads crisscrossing sections of the township. But what do stakeholders have in mind about investing in commercial bus and taxi services for the city?
Taxi in cities normally develop based on the need for transportation. Now we have the Federal University, we have the State Polytechnic and other places. And I think Lafia is ripe for that. And I believe if we can have taxis, they will even improve the system of transportation within the city.
I won't say we are too local, but we were local before. Even now, we have a town service now, like 3 or 4 from town service branch.
But looking at the Lafia nature, I don't think taxi will sell.
Some of them are on drugs, some are not trained. Some of them violate these traffic rules and regulations.
So if we should have taxi service, I believe it will reduce the rate of accidents and many other things like that.
One way or the other, there is every need for government to intervene.
For now, Okada culture remains the only option to move around Lafia city, as there is hope among stakeholders in Lafia. Hamza Musa Makalipi, NTA News.
So you must learn how to ride on an Okada or own a car in Lafia. Now, when News Extra returns from the break, we'll bring you sports and weather.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online, or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Thanks for staying. D-Tigers improves on performance at Basketball World Cup, as Amanzi Marcus reports on Sports Update.
Nigeria's national basketball team on Wednesday won their last Group B match at the FIBA World Cup in China after 2 losses against Russia and Argentina. The Tigers won 108-66 against South Korea, having established an 8-point lead in the first half, which ended 31-49, only to dominate the last 2 quarters that earned Nigeria victory.
We're going to try to shock the world, if not now, maybe in the Olympics, something like that. We're growing, so we're working on that.
The result has brightened the country's chances of qualifying to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The Super Falcons on Tuesday qualified to the 3rd round of the qualifying series for women football of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics after a lone goal victory over their Algerian opponents at the Agege Stadium in Lagos. With aggregate scores at 3-0, Nigeria plays Cote d'Ivoire next based on their performance over 2 legs. Former Super Eagles coach and player Samson Siasia on Wednesday in Abuja addressed a press conference on his life ban by FIFA. The ban was imposed on allegations of match fixing, to which Siasia says he is not guilty.
I'm still not awake from that slumber till today, but all the same, I have my lawyer here. We filed an appeal, and we just need to wait till FIFA and CAS gets back to us to know exactly where we can go from here.
We believe he has very strong grounds of appeal. We have looked at the decision and the reasons behind the decision, and we have decided to put forward an appeal to FIFA and also an appeal as they directed in their decision to CS, that's the Court of Sports for Arbitration.
Samson Siasia was banned by FIFA on August 16 for alleged involvement in match fixing. With sports update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Let's take a quick check on other weather prospects for Thursday. And that's it on News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Fatima Umar Buba.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
As the President of the Senate, I will perform my functions. Honestly. To the best of my ability.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve.
We expect a robust
national development
relationship with the executive
and the legislative.
They should focus on security, job, economy.
Then I'll be very happy.
Good evening. This is Inside the Senate. I am Gabriel Ujile, standing in for your regular anchor. One of the highlights of the program tonight is the Senate President's thank you visit to his constituency early last week. We shall also continue with our review of some motions that were considered by the Senate before the recess. Our focus is on motions which address economic issues. Our review of Senate activities will also include some courtesy calls on the Senate President by envoys from other countries, where the focus of discussion was on broadening bilateral relations with Nigeria for the economic benefits of all. Details of these and more after the break. Please stay tuned.
The Senate to send a message to the President
to heap opportunity from that to raise a matter of urgent public importance.
And we are aware that when this particular motion comes up
for a longer term development, arise to second the motion.
Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Welcome back. One activity that the senators embark on during the long recess is constituency visits. The Senate President Ahmed Lawal is no exception, as on Monday and Tuesday the 26th and 27th of August he paid a visit to his constituents in Yobe North Senatorial District of Yobe State for the purpose of saying thank you to them for their unwavering support. Highlights of this visit in this first report, compiled and presented from our studios.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan arrived Dutse International Airport in Jigawa State and was received by officials of the state government. This was on Monday, the 26th of August, 2019. From there, he proceeded in a motorcade to Unguru in Yobe State, where he was accorded a heroic welcome. It was his first visit since becoming the president of the 9th Senate. First port of call was the Emir's Palace, where on arrival, the Emir of Unguru, Alhaji Mustafa Ibn Mey Kyari, announced the conferment of the traditional title of Mukaddam of Nguru on the Senate President. The title is reserved for high-profile personalities of the Emirate whose activities have impacted positively on the entire people of the community. The Emir appealed to the Senate President to work towards resolving the challenges facing the Emirate, amongst which is flooding. Responding, Senator Ahmed Lawan expressed delight at the reception accorded him and pledged to be there for his people and Nigerians at all times. Senator Ahmed Lawan also paid a visit to the recently burned Nguru markets as well as to victims of flood disaster, where he offered his sympathy and prayed against the reoccurrence of the disaster. More inspections of the environmental challenge bedeviling the area took the Senate President into the night, as a result of which he promised delivery of the dividends of democracy and action to resolve the problems.
Koke-koken an samu ambaliyar ruwa a wasu wuraren ma wasu yankunan mu za mu duba me nazari mu ga da za mu taimaka insha Allah shi ma.
Other places visited were Machina, Jajimaji, Yusufari, Jakusko, and his native home of Gashua. During a courtesy call on the traditional ruler of Bade Emirate, May Bade, Alhaji Abubakar Suleiman II, he urged the Senate President to work towards leaving a memorable legacy for his constituency and Nigeria at large.
Haka nan wannan mazaɓatawa yadda nake a baya haka zan kasance zan riƙe amanar mutane in ba sa nan Allah suna nan dan ci gaba da wakiltar su bisa gaskiya da kuma tabbatarwa cewa duk abin da ya kamata mu kawo wannan yanki saboda mu samu sauƙin rayuwa za mu yi shi.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan inspected areas suffering various environmental challenges. He was accompanied by the governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Mai Malabuni, and Emir of Bade, Alhaji Abubakar Suleiman II.
Abun alfahari ne yau a ce mutum na uku a Najeriya ya yi tattaki tun da wannan itilafin ya faru, abin da ya kama daga kasuwan guru da gobara ya shafe su da sauran wurare kananan hukumomi da ruwa ya ci biye musu ta'adi. Yau muna tare da shi a wannan yanki, ba karamin abin alfahari bane ga dukkanmu 'yan jihar Yobe. Saboda kuma kamun ya zama Senate President, kun san irin jajircewa da ya yi a kan maganar Yobe da kuma yankinsa inda aka zaɓe shi.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan announced a 10 million naira donation to the victims and called on the Emir to supervise the disbursement of the fund.
Na koma insha Allah a cikin wannan sati zan aiko naira miliyan 10. Ina fatan za a kakkasa a sawa mutane a hannunsu waɗanda abubuwa suka shafe su, kuma shi mai martaba sarki shi zai kasance chairman ne da za a raba wannan abu. Muna fatan su al'umma wannan abu dan kawo musu dan sauki da sa'ida.
The Senate President also announced more interventions planned by his office to alleviate the situation. In an interview with press shortly before his departure to Abuja Tuesday, the 27th of August, 2019.
My office has already written to NEMA for immediate delivery of some relief to the people that are affected.
Those were highlights of the thank you visit by the Senate President to his constituents. We'll take a break here to open the Senate notebook. When we return, a review of some motions debated in the Senate. Don't go away.
committee secretariat is the body mandated to coordinate administrative duties of the committee. It is headed by the committee clerk, under whose specialized administrative and legislative staff operate. This operation involves organize committees meeting with stakeholders, ensure effective communication with committee members as well as other stakeholders, organize public hearings, oversight duties as well as screening exercises referred to the committee by the Senate plenary, and perform such duties referred to it by the leadership of the committee, amongst other things.
Welcome back. Nigeria as a coastal state is permitted by Article 76 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, to additionally claim between 200 and 350 nautical miles, equivalent to 200 and 650 kilometers beyond their entitled boundaries for the offshore oil exploration in the extended continental shelf, if a counterpart fund is paid. Article 81 of the law also confers on them exclusive drilling rights within the limit as long as the fund is paid. This also means that Nigeria would harvest more oil and gas than what it is currently being produced onshore, in addition to such other benefits like boosting naval activities and national security both on the sea, the seabed and airspace, exploration of valuable resources like sedentary fisheries, bioprospecting of deep ocean diversity, diverse types of solid minerals like diamond, phosphorite, sulfur, coal, iron and hydrocarbon. As a result, Nigeria on the 7th of May 2009 made a formal submission to the United Nations Commission on the Limits of Continental Shelf, CLCS, requesting for the extension of its continental shelf beyond 200 to 350 nautical miles, about 370 to 650 kilometers. Pursuant to this project, the country in the year 2000, amongst other things, established an office in the United Nations where Nigerian and foreign experts in that field were mandated to see to the day-to-day activities of the project. However, due to lack of funding, the project suffered a setback, thereby creating doubt as to its present status. It is in the light of this that Senator George Sekibo, before the recess, called on the federal government to work towards resolving the matter. This came through a motion titled Need to Ascertain the Status of the Nigerian Extended Continental Shelf Project. Senator Sekibo, as well as other senators, spoke on the need to complete the project, as well as the benefits that would accrue to Nigeria as a result.
Nigeria will gain more as offshore oil well produce about 30% of the 85 million barrels of oil output per day in 2010. This means that with enough oil and gas prospecting infrastructure on offshore exploration and exploitation, the country will harvest more oil and gas than what is currently being produced onshore.
If we're able to make the case for the extension of the continental shelf beyond the 200 nautical miles, the benefits to be derived from the additional area, if proven, is very, very immense.
We're saying that 30% of what we earn today from our oil revenue comes from offshore. It means that we can triple that, which means also funding our budget becomes easier.
After many more debates, the following resolutions were adopted. Direct the Senate committees on states and local governments as well as marine transport to follow up activities of the project and brief the Senate of its findings, and urge President Muhammadu Buhari not to relent in his efforts to fully support the project by defraying the outstanding financial commitment to the United Nations. Also before the recess, the Senate adopted a resolution to commend President Muhammadu Buhari for signing the agreement for Nigeria to become a member of the African Continental Free Trade Area. This was at the 12th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union, which took place in Niamey, the Niger Republic capital city, on the 18th of June 2019. The President had earlier on declined signing the agreement at the 10th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union, which took place in Kigali, the Rwandan capital, in March 2018, following agitations and apprehensions by the business community in Nigeria. The membership of the body will make Nigeria a dumping ground for goods and services from other African countries.
Of the Free Trade Area Agreement.
However, Senator Barrow Jibril, in a motion titled Nigeria's Membership of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Thursday, the 11th of July 2019, disclosed that this misgiving has been put to rest by a presidential technical committee constituted to look into the matter in collaboration with the business community. According to him, the committee in the course of its work discovered some of the benefits Nigeria would enjoy from being a member of the body, to include increase in the volume of trade between Nigeria and other African countries, opening up of domestic markets of member countries to other continents, dismantling of trade bottlenecks, and reducing importation of goods and services from other continents. He lamented lack of knowledge of the benefits of the agreement amongst Nigerians. He then expressed the need to educate Nigerians on the benefits of the membership.
Not a great number of Nigerians understand the profound benefits of the free trade area agreement in the light of the rather intricate interplay of economic theories and their applications as they affect the common man.
In their various comments, senators observed that Nigeria's membership of the body is not too different from its membership of ECOWAS, except that this one is beyond the West African sub-region, amongst other things.
The president was right in exercising very great caution. He was right in not rushing to the agreement immediately and in carrying the private sector along by setting up that committee that went around, did a thorough job over some months. And I believe they interacted with the private sector, and I believe their affairs have been allayed in convincing the president to sign this agreement. So, this agreement, over the long term, will be of benefit to Nigeria.
Because it's the responsibility of the legislature and, of course, this chamber to domesticate this treaty, that when the time comes, all the issues that have been raised for us to have the necessary competitiveness as a country that will take full advantage of this treaty, that time we will impute all these suggestions into the treaty for subsequent implementation by the government.
I think Nigeria has a lot to benefit within this African business arrangement than even in our World Trade Organization. And if we do have this, then our World Trade Organization and balance of trade will begin to make a meaning.
However, some senators called for caution in view of some objectives of the agreement, which are to establish a single continental market for goods and services with free movement of business professionals and investments, accelerating the establishment of continental and African customs union, expand intra-African trade through better harmonization and coordination of trade liberalization, facilitating cross-regional communities across Africa, and enhancing competitiveness at the industries and enterprises levels.
Expect and address some issues as...
Some others view this as portending danger to Nigeria in view of its infrastructural deficit, and argued that the agreement would favor countries with strong industrial base, while also suggesting the need to scale up skills amongst Nigerians to cover for infrastructural deficit it suffers.
Countries that will survive this trade agreement must have large manufacturing bases, must have enabling physical and industrial infrastructure. The countries that have always been mentioned in this conversation are countries like South Africa, Kenya, Egypt, Morocco, Ethiopia, because they have the necessary large manufacturing bases and they have the enabling physical and industrial infrastructure. Of course, there's need for Nigeria, even if we have deficiencies in infrastructure and all that, there is actually a very strong need for Nigeria to scale up on the issues of skills. We really need to scale up on skills because as for today, I'm sure most of us, if you want to tile your home, you'll probably be looking for a tiler from Togo. So these are the kind of challenges we are going to have with this.
I think it's a bit premature to begin to roll out the drums, to start celebrating without looking at every detail. If you look at the motion, Barrow said at one point, Mr. President declined to sign. That would imply that there was a study, there was some recommendation for him not to sign. And then another point, they brought some recommendations to him by some committee that he should sign. I think those are the documents that we need to look at.
When the American government put in place the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA. The Eastern and Southern African countries were putting in place national framework and implementation plan to take advantage of AGOA so that they can increase their trade and reduce the deficit of the balance of trade between them and other countries. We here cannot say we have taken advantage of AGOA, even though it ran for almost 20 years. And so now we have this African Free Trade Agreement. What then should be our position? And I think this should be the area that we must take very seriously.
The Senate then resolved to urge the federal government to enlighten the Nigerian business community to leverage on the benefits of the agreement, urge the federal government to improve our infrastructure such as electricity, roads, and other basic necessities in order to reduce cost of production with a view to making Nigeria products globally competitive, and urge the federal government to be the main driving force for the success of its membership by ensuring that its policies and programs are consistent with the mission and vision of the agreement. Welcome back. Before the break, we took a report on the thank you visit by Senate President Ahmed Lawal to his people of Yobe North Senatorial District of Yobe State. We also reviewed some motions aimed at improving the economy of the nation. We will move on now to review some courtesy visits to the office of the Senate President by foreign envoys. Nigeria's foreign policy thrust is designed to, among other things, ensure excellent bilateral relations topped discussions.
The Lebanese ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Hossam Diab, is one of those who called on the Senate President shortly before the recess.
Way to build the nation.
Welcoming him, Senator Ahmed Lawan expressed the need to further explore the long-standing relationship between the two countries for economic benefits, especially in the area of tourism.
We need to encourage tourism between the two governments. Lebanon is a tourist attraction every day. Nigeria has also tourist sites spread across the country. Almost every part of the country has one tourist attraction or the other.
Earlier, the ambassador expressed his country's desire to tap from Nigeria's parliamentary experience in constituting its Senate.
So we hope that we build on Nigerian Senate experience to build our experience. And in this respect, we can probably inspire from your leadership and from your good experience in the Senate to build on it, to constitute our Senate. And I know that your long tenure and the political scene will be fundamental to our to extend your opinion and your advice.
Another caller was the ambassador of United Arab Emirates to Nigeria, Mr. Mohammed bin Zayed. He also sought cooperation with Nigeria